Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with day 2 of the lockdown. It's the Scrap Squad 14 days of lockdown scrap lifts, and today's is it's nice and simple. There's a background page that's a border. There's a page cut down from there, a patterned page, and then they've got a white section across there splitting this in half. Doily, a nice photo, a few embellishments, and some nice journaling. I'm gonna go crazy on this one. I'm using, I think these are the last whole sheets of my Mind the Scrap kit for March, and I'm going to, in place of the white sheet, I'm going to go with this rainbow sheet. I'll tell you in a minute what the brands are. I get questions on that. So I'll tell you in a second. The back sheet, I believe, well, I can tell you in a minute, is it's Heidi Swap Honey and Spice, and it's got this on one side. I'm going for the black and white kind of graphic flowers, and I have fussy cut some of those flowers. This page is called Flourish, and that's from Heidi Swap Honey and Spice. And the rainbow page is Magical Forest by Crate Paper, and it's got a beautiful wood grain on the other side, and I'm happy to have rescued some of that. The geometric pattern here is from Again and Again by Pink Paisley, and the reverse is this pretty floral. And I've used those. I get an extra page packet of the papers when I get my kit, so I have used these before, but not in quite this way. Now, one of the things that you notice in the original is this stitching all around, and all the large pieces of paper are stitched onto one another, and I'm not going to do that. You knew I wasn't going to do that. I may doodle a border. So I'm going to start laying down the flat, easy pieces right now. I'm going to leave that half-inch border all around because I cut an inch off each side of it. And then I'm going to lay this down. I really hate putting glue and turning that over, but I haven't used I've used the wood grain side. I haven't used the rainbow side yet. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to, now I'm going to really, these are kind of, let's see, I'm thinking I have this on maybe a little crooked. Get this back up. It's hard to tell with that kind of pattern at the back. So this is the base. I'm going to go crazy and add lots of different colors to this with the Calvinball stuff I'm gonna be adding. I've got a large photo here of a sleeping dog, and you should always let sleeping dogs lie. I'm going to kind of put it off to the side. I have a smaller picture that was taken just a few minutes before that one was taken, and I'm thinking that this part of her little body isn't all that interesting to anyone, so I'm going to put that this photo, I'm going to overlap this photo here, and I'm going to group some of the embellishments around here. I think I'm going to put the journal block here, and I may back it with something, maybe do something like this. We'll see when we get there, but I need to put it someplace handy so I know how to get to it. Let me put that away. Okay, I'm going to adhere the doily. I may want to lift the doily up and put some things under it. I'm going to adhere it right in the center. And then I'm going to put some foam behind this guy. I think around here, at least when I live in my scrappy universe, I'm maybe a little more concerned about running out of fun foam. I have about 3 or 4 sheets left, and I go through this like crazy. I do have a rather large roll of foam tape, and I have a few things of pop dots that I could use. Okay, so that's down. I'm going to pop this up on foam as well. I also have a little scrap bucket of foam scraps that I could piece together if I need to cover a large photo. And I'll leave a little bit inside on that one so I can pop some embellishments under it. I'm going to do this kind of off to an angle like that. And I will, let's see what I want to do. I'll tell you what I'm going to do with my journaling. I'm going to back it like this, and I'm going to cut out the profile of the ticket. I need, when I say need, and I probably will again, you don't need anything in Calvinball. You can do an absolutely minimalist layout. You could do a plain white page if you wanted to. But one of the rules that gets me a point is to have a ticket, and another one is to have a banner, and another one is to have a Project Life card, a pocket page card, and which this is, and I've got the ticket and the banner here. Let me do this way. And I go here. I'm probably going to sneak in here. It might have been good to do that before gluing that on, but I wanted to know exactly where I was placing it. Okay, that's not perfect, but it'll do. Let me get over here and get this cut through. Ooh, there's a pretty ticket on the other side, and the color might have gone better. But I've got, see this little piece of ticket and piece of banner, I can use that on another layout, and I get the credit for the banner and the ticket, even if it's a kind of a partial cut like that or like this. So I'm gonna do this here and let that kind of overlap the photo, and to do that I can put this foam behind it. And because, and this is one of my little, I'm not a real stickler for detail, but because I have a border here and I don't have a border here, I'm probably going to overlap something there. And or I'll butt it up to something. Okay, so let me do that. That works, and then I can build some embellishments around there. One of the things I'm going to use, this is from a previous Mind the Scrap kit, is this this tag. I've already cut a circle out of it. I'm going to cut that, and if we get an animal print rule, I can cut a circle or a turtle or anything. I can die cut anything out of that. I want to tie my ribbon here. The journaling says we're so lucky that Reese doesn't know it's her birthday, or else she might resent the lockdown. And you can tell from that that we have certain members of the family who do resent the lockdown, especially since spring break is coming and they're not going. And they're kind of not thrilled with the online schooling that they're having to do. But they'll get over it. This too shall pass, right? Okay, gonna stick that there, and it's not sticking to the doily very well, so let me burnish that. Okay, that's done. That gets me a tag. We get a point for a tab, and I'm gonna kind of stick this little tab here on the this little photo. I pulled this tab sticker off of a kind of a sports-themed Bella Boulevard sticker sheet, and I got photo corners. We get points for photo corners, so I pulled those, and I thought, okay, I need a tab, and that's kind of cute. And I like when I first put something down that doesn't match the color scheme, then I feel freedom in the rest of what I do, if that makes sense. I'm not worried now about the fact that things don't match or make sense or anything else. So this, we have a panda bear point that we get. I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to go to my foam tape, because the foam tape is appropriate for this particular embellishment. So there was a Maggie Holmes collection called Gather, I think, that had this piece of ephemera. It's a die cut of a panda bear in a dress. So that makes about as much sense as anything else I'm going to put on here will make. I have Amy Tangerine coffee cups. I might just kind of slide these in here. I'm going to cover up. I brought this down from, I don't know, Instagram or somewhere. My husband's or my granddaughter's. And there's a little, like smiley face emoji there. If we got an emoji point, I might leave it there and let it show and claim the point for it, but we don't yet. That's not on the rules. So I'm just going to kind of stick that here, and somewhere I think I have an Amy Tangerine piece of pie, and I might just kind of stick that on a pop dot over here by the coffee where it could make some sense. There's 3 cups of coffee and 1 piece of pie, so somebody's going to be left out in the cold. Okay, there's an envelope point, And I have this cute little envelope. I think these came in an old Mind the Scrap kit. And I'm going to kind of put it right here. And what I've got inside the envelope are some books. Let me get them. I will worry about arranging those, and right now they're kind of being held by the fact that the envelope's trying to close. I also have a piece of sheet music. It's not a piece of sheet music. It's some tissue paper that looks like sheet music, and I've just crumpled it up, and it's kind of sticking out of the envelope there. So we'll put something pretty on that envelope, like this butterfly on a pop dot. I'm going to try not to destroy the essence of this this pretty page, but I'll still be adding points. I'm going to do a stamped globe, and I'm not quite sure where I want to put it. Again, might have been good to do this before I laid down everything. How about in this corner here? I'll do that, and then I can still layer some things over it. Okay, it didn't come out perfect, but you can tell what it is, and that's all that's necessary. I'm going to set this aside and clean it later. That globe came from this Lawn Fawn stamp set called Wish You Were Here, and I may go back and use this You Mean the World to Me, so I'm going to kind of put it over here by my stamp block. I've got another stamp that came from the current Mind the Scrap kit, or kits. I subscribe to all of them, and the excitement is palpable when they arrive at the house. So I have not used this one, so it's a little hard to pull from the acetate here. I'm looking around, kind of planning my next bits. Sorry about this. It's a rather large stamp, and I want to get it down because I have a heart stencil that I want to use under it, and then so I kind of want to place all of those things. Let's pull that block back here. And I'll do this, and if it doesn't come out, I have I have two different size Misties, and I normally use those, but when I'm filming, it's kind of hard to do. So I think that's good there. I may overlap overlapping as proved here doesn't necessarily look good. So I'm going to kind of stick it right, pull that one off so I can see. And a trick that I've learned, if it doesn't really come out as intense as you'd like it, if you go over it with glossy accents, it not only kind of makes the ink go together. Actually, that came out pretty darn good. But if it hadn't, you could go over it with this, and it kind of pops it up from the page and really makes it look nice. that off to the side, put that with it, get the glossy accents away. I don't think I'm going to need it here, and it takes forever to dry, so that's just as well. So now I'm going to lift that up again. I'm going to do the heart here and maybe get a different color pen, maybe this yellow. I'll do the brush and kind of just go on the part that doesn't touch the stamped image. Let me get this up here. And I know that's not going to show, but I'll know it's there, and you'll know it's there. And I have now fulfilled my obligation to use a stencil and to use a stamp. So that's done. This also came in a Mind the Scrap kit, I think maybe January or November. Couldn't tell you. I know it wasn't December because that was a Christmassy themed kit. Okay, got a little bit of lace here. That there's already lace in the doily, so this seems overkill, but it is a separate rule, and I don't want to cheat. So I'm going to kind of slide it in over here as if it's maybe a placemat or something underneath these coffee cups. Just kind of squinch it there, and it'll barely show. But again, you and I will know it's there. And it doesn't make a big impact, and it leaves me with another little small piece of lace for the next layout. I'll put that off to the side. Don't need this. There's a camping point, and I have this little camper and a tree. I'm going to kind of stick it up on a pop dot and slide it in here where you'll barely notice it. Behind the books. Let me kind of slide it under her skirt. There we go. There's a glitter point and a blue point, and I have a blue cloud. I'm going to just kind of hold off. I'm going to put a pop dot behind it, and I'm going to just leave it there. I'm not crazy about how that looks. There's a frame point. I'm going to just tuck a frame in. I'm going to cut a little bit more of that off. What I did here was there was a sticker inside here, and I took the sticker out, but I kept the sticker backing, and I'm fussy cutting around it, and then I can lift the frame, the stuff that's left on the backing, and I think I did that in at least one of the videos I did yesterday. Okay, I'm going to do this. That may be easier with my fingers. I'm going to kind of, now I'll put it over the tag. Tuck it down in there. Okay, there will be some embellishments over there. That may be where I move that blue cloud to. It looks weird off here by itself, but if I do a grouping of other embellishments, it may not look as much out of place. there's a call for an arrow, and I've had this arrow kind of lying around in my ephemera to use sometime soon box, and I don't know where it came from, and it's kind of ugly, I guess. It's brown and beige, not my two best colors to embellish with. So I'm gonna maybe kind of stick it there. Where it kind of overlaps into this this border, and I'll let it point to whatever embellishments I'm going to have there. There's a frog point and a watercolor point. This is some stenciling over some watercolor. I'm going to maybe stick this up under there, again where it doesn't necessarily show. And you know what? How about if I stick him no, because it has that notch and this thing came out, I tell you what I'm going to do with this frame. I'm going to let it stick flat underneath the doily. And I'll let him stick out a little bit here. Okay, I like that better, and I know for sure it'll stick. Okay, now we'll go back to, I'm going to put this this little frog under here. It's one that I created on my word processing system and pulled in some of my artwork from an art journal page. So I've already added some of this blue, and this is beginning to maybe make more sense, and I might put it there. Enamel dots I have to have, so I'm gonna maybe stick a couple right here in the pinwheel area of the doily. That works for my enamel dots. The glitter's going to go there. I've also got some embellishments that I thought. There's a sloth point, and I thought I might just tuck the sloth in here. When I stamped this, somehow some ink got up here, and it's in a pretty white part of that. I'm going to let you do this. Kind of under the camping stuff. And the sloth is holding flowers and greenery, so I'm going to take these other pieces of ephemera and use them another time. This is a piece, this is a blue flower. It's maybe worth using to repeat that bright blue color. And I could use it kind of right here without destroying the fact that I have a banner without and a ticket there. So okay, that works. It just adds a little bit of color there. I've got this. This is what awesome looks like. There's no particular reason for points that I need that. I need a dragon, and I need the color purple. And I have this purple dragon that I created the same way I did the frog by pulling in my own artwork, and that is watercolor there. So let me just kind of put it there, and I can layer something over it as long as it doesn't hide the fact that it's a dragon, or it doesn't hide the fact that it's purple. So maybe I want it here, overlapping this. Oh, there you go. It can overlap the photo. Speaking of which, I need to use my photo corners, and it looks like I've got this corner and this corner free on that piece of paper. I'm going to use some foam tape underneath it to give them a little bit of dimension. Do this, and I'm violating my own rule by using my fussy cutting scissors for cutting something that has adhesive. That kind of tends to ruin fussy cutting scissors, in case you hadn't made that mistake yet. But I think I may be in the market for new fussy cutting scissors that have a little bit finer scissor edge. I'm doing a lot of fussy cutting lately, and I love the control of these Tim Holtz scissors, but he's got a smaller, thinner pair that I think he actually designed for fussy cutting. So I'm going to offset the photo corners so they become more of an embellishment. And here's this one. And they bring in the black and white that you get in that background paper there. Okay, I cut a bit of that off, and then I can use that for something else, as long as I can keep track of it. And when I'm filming, I tend to just kind of toss things out onto the table or onto the mat. And okay, that's there. Now we have some other small points getters. One of the things we need is a wood veneer. And though we don't get points for stars, I'm going to use a wood veneer star. And maybe what I'll do is I'll cover part of that, this guy. I'll glue it onto here. I'm going to really press it because I'm gluing it onto glitter. So I'll let that be something of a little cluster that I find a place for later. I've got a fairy, and the fairy could be here. It's not a bad place for it to be, and well, let's do it on a pop dot, just so that she's kind of standing out a bit. I have to find a place for put her here, and there's a frog there. I've got a panda bear. Oh, I've got the panda already, so we don't need the panda. That goes into the don't need it, use it later column. This is as a nod to the fact that it's Reese's birthday month. I've got this little cat popping out of a gift box, and so I get a cat point, a birthday point, and a sunglasses point. The cat is wearing sunglasses. So, and if I didn't have yellow anywhere else, which I do, I could also get, it would be worth a yellow point because the cat is yellow. Okay, so there, that works. Okay, there's a gnome point, and I could do the gnome right there. He's on a toadstool, and we used to have a toadstool point, but we don't anymore. So I don't get a point for the toadstool, but the gnome is so cute sitting up there on the toadstool. I get a dinosaur point, and I thought the dinosaur could overlay the sloth. I'll put that. As you can see, it's taking on a whole different look from the original. However, I'll point out to you what gave me the idea to maybe do all of this. In the original, the pattern paper, either that's pattern paper or those are little fussy cut flower clusters that are pasted on there. But it makes it quote unquote busy. Not busy compared to this, but busy enough that it justified my busy. So we're going to leave it at that. There is a nautical point. There's a bunny rabbit and there's a banner. I've got the banner point there. I'm not going to use this banner here. I had an idea of maybe putting small, tiny embellishments on each of those flags on the banner. There's a superhero point, and I like this guy. Maybe if I use him, if I don't tuck him way down in here, he's going to cover the arrow and almost the frame. So I'm going to do him this way and maybe see, well, you can tell that's an arrow and I know it's an arrow, so I'm going to probably leave it there. I have different types of paper that need to be used. One is polka dot paper, and there's an under the sea point. So I have this octopus cut from polka dotted paper, and I'm gonna put him on a pop dot, maybe right in here. I have a sun or moon point, and I'm going to put the sun right over here, and now that kind of almost gives me license to do that. Let me see what else I have. I know I have a rocket ship point that just came today, and I've got this, and there's a chipboard point, and I've got this piece of chipboard. This is from, I believe, Imagine That boy line. Does Explore More seem like something that would make sense going right here? I think so. Let me do it at something of an angle so you can read it, and we can still see this blue enamel dot. Kind of not good planning of me to use that enamel dot there. I've got this bunny rabbit. It's a clear sticker, so it has to lay on something that doesn't obscure it, and I've peeled it off to try to use it before and not put it back on there quite like I should have. Let me put the bunny right here inside the With All My Heart heart. There is an ombre point and a unicorn point, and I created this on my computer using some of my artwork that ombres from this darker pink to the peachy kind of colors. So I'm going to have the unicorn coming right out of the panda bear's head. That makes sense, right? There's a leprechaun point, and I'm gonna, this is a leprechaun fairy, and I shouldn't be using it because it's actually a double, but I like the fairy here. So I'm just gonna kind of slide it in there. Okay, there's a balloon point, and unfortunately my birthday cat is not doing balloons. I've got this, there's a geometric pattern paper, and this would work for geometric, but I'm going to go ahead and use this side. It's the other side of the same polka dot I used for the octopus. So I'm going to kind of put this here, and I'm using it also for the heart point. It has a die cut heart. I didn't even know I had this die cut until I kind of thumbed through looking for something else. So I'm going to have it there. Let's see, tickets. I've already used a ticket, so I don't need to use that. Feather. I do need a feather, and we need striped paper. So I will find a place for this feather, maybe right over in here, or maybe kind of like that. I have room for it here. I have room for it here, so that's the, no, I don't like it there. Let's see. I'm going back to here. Again, it's going to overlay that arrow, but again, I don't necessarily care. I've got a turtle I have to add in somewhere. What about maybe kind of coming off the page and being right here? There, okay. I'm kind of not, I don't have much over in this corner. I have a speech bubble here that's going to laugh because Reese loves to play with balls. And I've got a speech bubble that's cut from some a sports line of paper. And it makes it look like she's dreaming of playing with ball. And I get a point for the speech bubble, but I also get a point for the football that's in there. That got added a day or two ago. So let me kind of do this. And you can still see the superhero, you can still see the fairy, you can still see the arrow and the frame and the balloon. Okay, we're getting down to the nubs here. Sunglasses I don't need because my cat is wearing sunglasses. This is a plaid. There's a plaid point. So I'm going to have the plaid. I'm going to put a bigger piece of foam underneath that. My plaid turtle over here next to the striped feather, because they're cut from the same paper collection and they kind of look similar. That's and I'm going to glue this wood veneer camera. I need a camera, so even though I have wood veneer in this star that I haven't put on there yet, let me kind of slide this under I'll slide it under the turtle and let the feather overlap it. So that works. Let me finally put this in place. I will take the pop dot off the back because I have that star sticking up. I'm just gonna get it flat down and slide it up under the sun. sun and clouds and stars. There's a medical or first aid point, and I've got this Band-Aid from a collection I got a while back. I'm gonna maybe slide it under like that, kind of coming out at an angle. I've got a button point and a pineapple point. So I have I have punched, and a punch point. I've punched a button out of some paper, this paper, and I punched it over a part that had the pineapple. So it shows, and normally I might thread something through that if I had the stitching or sewing point, but that's been removed from the list, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to bother to do that. Let me kind of slide this pineapple button under there. We have, see, there's a wood grain point, and that arrow is almost wood grain, but I do, and there's a hexagon point, so I have to use some hexagon somewhere. Where might I want to use this? I can probably squeeze it in right there, and I'm gonna kind of wanted to show. I did a purple one. I forgot that I had a purple dragon, so I don't need the purple. And let me just get this guy. Where would this guy want to go? I'm thinking up in here, kind of partially obscured by the dragon and with the unicorn overlapping. Okay, I think there's an airplane. There's an airplane point, and I've got this thing that says "on our way." Think I'm going to fussy cut that off. It doesn't necessarily make sense. Not that all of this stuff does make sense, but I might have kept this as it was for the clouds. Want the plane to be flying straight, and it's getting it's looking different from. Okay, there's a tab. I've got my tab. I'm gonna, word strip. I've got word strips. I wanted to do a I was maybe going to use the dream as the title, and I could technically do it here because it wouldn't really affect the, let's do that. Or the refresh. The refresh might even be cute. I like dream. I'm going to go with dream, and I'll just kind of, because I've got the speech bubble that looks like she's dreaming of playing ball, I thought I'd stick with that. And I got a song point title. I know a song, Dream by the Everly Brothers. Dream. And I'm sure this video will go viral because I did that singing. Okay. So that's on there. I've got a circle and the globe, and there's a heart up here, so I don't need to use any of those. So Dream becomes my title, and has reference to a song. I'm going to now do a little bit of, let's see, I have gold foiling on the butterfly. I need some silver foiling, and this line by Paige Evans. This is from her the 6x8 book from the Bloom collection. Has silver foiling. Now, I don't think I have silver foiling on anything else, and I can maybe use this as a like it'll look like it's a border between that paper and that paper. So, and there's a torn paper requirement, so I will tear that, and it's not a requirement, it's a rule. It's an option, and I will avail myself of that option. And what's cute is this color looks just like the color in the kitty cat's hat. And it kind of brings in the same color that I used here and here. So it's actually a triangle. So I've got sequins and bling to add. I've got a little line of pink bling here that I should be able to pick up all together in a line and place somewhere. Where do we want to place it? I'm going to place it right here at the border between those two papers. Okay, that looks straight. And I'm going to add a sequin here. I look for when I'm placing sequins at the end, I look for spots that kind of have an indentation where it might look, something might look nice. And I'm going to put one more up in the, I didn't get enough glue there. And another thing I'm going to run out of before anything is allowed to open, I'm afraid, is my liquid glue. I have a few part bottles of it. I'm going to put a sequin up here on the balloon. I should have figured a way to put it over so it showed through the heart. I really need a third one, don't I? Let's go. Normally I pick these out with my tweezers, but my tweezers have gotten gluey, and I haven't taken the time with all that's going on with Calvinball. I haven't taken the time to thoroughly scrub the glue off the tips. So, shame on me. April 1st is coming and Calvinball will be over. Okay, what else? Oh, ink splatters. And it might be a little late in the game to be doing ink splatters, but I'm going to do some white ink splatters up here on the pink paper and maybe kind of down here. And I'm going to use this okay. That seems to work. So here's the original. I don't know if I got all the available Calvinball points, probably not, but I'll go total that up and I'll maybe let you know that. I'll go back and add it as a comment when I post this. Okay, pull that out. So that's the original, and it is adorable. And here's my Calvinball point-laden version of it. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.